Got it.
You see it?
Now streaming live.
Yeah. Redirect into the Facebook page. Cool. Let me check this over here real quick. Yeah, okay. So we're live, guys.
And we're live.
All right. So want to welcome everybody to our virtual YPR meeting. Today we have Geoffrey Lyons and Logan Lance here. We're going to talk about the 5 do's and don'ts of networking. So how about we spend a couple minutes, guys, and introduce yourselves. Geoffrey, why don't you go first?
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for coming and watching this awesome video and having a lot of fun with us today. My name is Geoffrey Lyons. I'm a 4th generation Rockwall native. Family's been here since the early 1800s. I'm a super big nerd, a husband and father of 2. I do all kinds of things from technology to commercial real estate and business development in general. And I love networking. I love the young professionals of Rockwall and serving here. And I look forward to working with you guys and helping you guys out.
Great. Thank you, Geoffrey. Logan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Logan Lance. I am, well, I haven't told you guys this, but next month I'll be a 1st generation Rockwallian.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going through that process right now, but I worked in Rockwall for the last almost 5 years as a commercial lender at American National Bank. So I work with businesses and individuals to do all sorts of cool financing things and be their banking relationship manager. So also I've done a lot of networking over the last 5 years, so just picked up a few tools or tricks or just genuine feedback that I've seen.
Awesome. Great. So let's just go ahead and get into it, guys. So like we know, we're talking about our top 5 do's and don'ts of networking. We did a little prep beforehand, so we have some topics that we're going to start hitting on. Let's go with you, Logan, first. So we were talking and you had said something that really hit, that networking is about connecting. Why don't you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, just pretty much the point of networking is not to meet with someone and just drive your sales up. It's to connect with them and allow them to help you drive your sales up, whether that's, and vice versa of you helping them out and either connecting them with potential prospects, clients, or other people that they need to connect with that are in their kind of center of influence or referral partners as well. So it's, it's not as so much of what can I do for you or what can you do for me, but what can I do for you? And hopefully the same sort of sentiment is given back to you. And if it's not, then it's not. But, networking is all about just making a connection, a relationship, because people want to do business with people that they know, that they also know that they know what they're doing as well. So,
right. I mean, that's a huge important point. That's kind of the first thing you got to think of when you're going into networking, right? A lot of people think that it is, you go in there and you try to take from people. But that's a great approach there, the giving first, don't walk into it expecting anything else out of it. Geoffrey, do you have anything to add on that key point?
Absolutely. And I would just say in general, be memorable. That's one of the biggest things is when you go to meet somebody, especially when it's in a networking event, so many people, like I wonder from all of you folks that are watching right now, how many of you kind of scoff, now or have in the past, especially where you're, man, I don't want to go over there. Oh, there's a group of people talking already. Oh, I don't want to go see them. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm not going to fit in. I don't know them. Oh, and it's like,
I don't know anybody.
You can't do that. Like, you got to go out there and get it and really just strike a conversation. You don't need to be the guy that goes and interrupts them and causes a bunch of rude, conversation or like just be interrupting and such. Nobody wants that guy either. But be memorable, go in there, but also be exciting. You need to look the part and be professional. It's like a good example of this is, for instance, two people that are memorable that everybody will always remember no matter what, that are undesirable, is they're going to remember the drunk, they're going to remember the person that was drunk, and they're going to remember the person that looked like they've been living on the street. It's like, what do you want to look like? You want to go work and communicate with people that, not necessarily just look like you, but they interact, they professional, they carry themselves well, and they're smiling. It's like everybody right now, you should be smiling. But that's really one of the big things that I would add that I think is really key. Shaun, that's what I think.
Great. I mean, I'll tell y'all too. Sorry, managing the comments over here, but that's something. I'm not a networking guy. I have a whole lot of anxiety going into it, especially when I first started getting involved in the chamber world, and that was really when I made the turn on from the anxiety part of walking into a networking event to just being a lot more comfortable, because I was walking in trying to sell first. And once I just let that go and was like, hey, you know what? Let's see what I can help, or just listen to people. You don't have to go hard at every single networking event. Good things come to you. So
I think everybody feels awkward.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And everybody has anxiety. And once you just kind of realize that everybody's on the same playing field, it makes it a lot easier as far as just reaching out to someone, because everybody's always trying to find someone that will reach out to them, and they can reach out to them as well. So I reach back.
Yep. Good points. All right. So let's move on to our next top five. Geoffrey, you're huge on this one. Handshake and eye contact. You're a Texan through and through. That's real important to our people. So why don't you talk about that and the importance of it?
So I can't express enough. Again, you hit the nail on the head. It's so very important and imperative. Again, you got to be smiling, right? You have got to be happy. You got to be excited. You got to be interested. And really, the first step before you go to doing any of this networking stuff is you need to go in there with the right attitude, right? You need to get pumped. You need to get excited. You need to go into there, and prior to going, ideally you should have a list. Some people are better with this, and you get with what works for you, because any of the stuff like we say today, for instance, I mean, it might have worked for us, it might work for a lot of folks, but everybody has something unique. You should ideally have a list prior to you going to any engagement, any meeting whatsoever, and you need to have a list of things that make you excited, or make you, or get you pumped up, or get you motivated to do something, or inspire for something. Maybe a person you knew, a funny YouTube video, a song, something. So you want to be upbeat and kind of just get out there and force yourself into the uncomfortable, because it's always rewarding in the end. And the eye contact is so imperative, because think about any of the times that you've met somebody, whether it was at a networking event or like your kid's soccer game, or you're playing soccer, etc., and you meet that person that just can't look you in the eye, right? And it's just awkward as hell. It's super awkward, and it just feels like you can't trust them, and it's just undesirable. Don't put yourself in that situation. It's like in the hand, especially with the contact of the handshake and everything. I mean, like, that is when you're telling somebody that you mean business and you're being serious. But at the same point in time, you don't need to crush someone's hand, right? But you need to use common sense, but like, in the sense that you are affirming that you are proud and excited to meet them and be there with them. Another token, another thing to think about too, is one thing that I commonly use, and it's like a little fun trick that a lot of people kind of look past, but is the sense of the psychology of human touch. It's often overlooked. Like when you meet somebody and you introduce yourself, right? Like a lot of times people say, what do you do? Or where are you from? What do you like to do? Why are you here? Whatever, be unique, be memorable again, but have something that is interesting, something that they remember. You don't want to be the person that at the end of the day, you're just, I'm the history teacher, or I'm whatever, I'm a mechanic. And then this one, like say Shaun or Logan comes up to you and asks you, hey, did you have a good time meeting Geoffrey over there? Jeff, who's that? You don't want to be that person. Don't be that guy. And like, give like a fist bump or something, not during COVID stuff, obviously, but go like, fist bump or some elbows or something. But the fact of human touch, like normally when I meet somebody, I not only shake their hand and whatnot, but if they say something fun, like they're a Dallas Cowboys fan, or, they like good barbecue, or they like good craft brews, or they like shooting guns or doing some other fun stuff, like I'll give them like a high five, and it's awkward, right? I forced them into that position. I'm like, hey, high five up top. And it's like literally the moment that you strike hands, it is a little impulse in the back of your brain, and that is a memorable moment that they'll never forget. Works every single time.
That's great, and especially the point you made about don't be a hand crusher. No one likes that. That's the one thing I can add to that. Just be respectful of people's space too. Like shake their hand, of course, but you no need to go in there and murder their hand. Logan, anything to add to that point?
I mean, respect people's bubbles too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a good thing too. If you are, you walk up to someone, you see they're a little apprehensive. Maybe they're not a handshake person. Maybe they're not a high five person too. But figure out how you can make that connection with them, so you're still memorable in that way. Before we move on to topic 3, we have somebody in the comments, Jeff Scanner with Black Level AV. I do want to send a big shout out to him. He's a YPR member, but he's also the president of the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance. And we straight stole this idea from him to do a conversation like this. So Jeff, just want to send a big thank you for that. You really are setting the tone for what our affiliate group should be doing. Okay, so on to topic 3. Geoffrey, I have here that you wanted to talk about hot connections. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Hot connections. Well, you gotta. We're in Texas, baby. It's hot as can be. That's what I'm talking about. Connections all day, every day. No, so here, this is really kind of just being unique, being memorable again. But like for instance, when you come to meet somebody, not just networking, but a lot of times people think that, well, I need to be really good at networking, or I need to be extrovert, or because I'm an introverted person, or I'm shy, I'll suck. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be any good at it. Like, it's all wrong, all false. Some of the best people that are at networking are introverted folks. But in the sense of getting out the connection, you can ask like the right types of questions. And for example, I would have you guys try this, for instance, next time, go up to somebody and say, hey, these yahoos that I was talking to at Young Professionals Rockwall, they told me to try this experiment, and said that I should ask people 3 things they love to do instead of what they do for work. Tell me, what do you love to do? All you have to do is smile, listen, and watch and listen to what that person's talking about, and they're going to run their mouth forever. Don't be fake about it. Be genuinely interested somehow. Find some interest in something like that, but be eloquent in such a say that you carry on to that conversation. You find some tidbits, and next thing you know, you're having a discussion with that person, and you learned and got so deep with that person that it's a real genuine conversation. Those are the best ones. And networking events aren't always necessarily the best places to meet folks and learn and build your business, build your brand, build your reputation. You can do this at, again, the soccer games. You can do this at the parades, the young professionals networking groups and socials, the self-service events and things that we do. There's a ton. I could go into this quite a bit. But another real big thing I want to say too is give people your undivided attention. When you're networking with people, it is just like dating all over again. You are dating and courting this person, whether you're the guy or the gal, right? Like, you need to treat that person with, complete honesty and also respect. You need to be looking them in the eye and better not be talking to them. Oh, yes. One second. Check this. No, we don't do that. That's rude as hell. It doesn't work. It doesn't work well. And that person's going to not be very interested in you as well. Another pro tip to going and making those hot connections too is remembering someone's name. Cannot stress enough how imperative it is to repeat the person's name. And it's easy to follow up with that and say, after you met them, hey, it's nice to meet you, Shaun. Hey, it's nice to meet you, Logan. Always repeat their name at the end of it. Not only will they listen up a little bit closer, but you're shown that, for one, you're listening, you're acknowledging what they're saying. And same thing goes for any of the stuff that they follow on and tell you about or talk about.
Right. Those are great points. The undivided attention one too. Like in today's world, we all have our phones and it's always buzzing, right? We've got our watches that are going off. It's okay to excuse yourself from the conversation real quick. Maybe your wife is calling you. You need to answer that, or maybe it is a work thing. It's totally cool to step away for a second and just go, hey, hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I need to answer this text. I need to answer this phone call. So, that's good. Logan, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, the more you're just all cliche things, right? The more you can connect with someone, the more your connection will kind of mitigate and grow. I think a lot of it too is, not all networking is done in a big group or a big event. A lot of it takes place over in one-on-one meetings, and not on just one-on-one meeting where you're setting aside 45 minutes, an hour, or anything. It's multiple. It's hey, let's check in every 3 or 4 weeks and just get coffee. And that's where you really make a connection, is because something that you've talked to them about 3 weeks ago things might have changed, or you might have found a way to help their business within those last 3 weeks, or their business might have shifted from one avenue to the next within that period. So just because you connect in a group doesn't mean that connection doesn't ever evolve. I mean, it has to evolve, especially when you're talking about bringing people into your center of influence, your synergy partners, all that kind of stuff. So finding and retaining connections for multiple things is, I think, very important.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is a really good point too about catching up with them again later, because like you said, it's not the networking just right here in this 1 hour that we're doing. If you're doing it right, you're building up on that network, because making the hot connections, right, that is just connecting people too at the end of the day. If you're seen as that connector, your business is just going to grow exponentially that way. So if you're able to do that, to not be selfish, to try to give back to other people, it will all just float back to you too. So great points. So the next one, I know this is something both of y'all are really good at, but Logan, let's toss it to you first. Asking great questions.
That is a great question. So now I think it's very important whenever you're trying to connect with someone, trying to establish those hot connections, right, Geoffrey?
That's
that
right.
You ask them not only questions about what their business is, but questions about them. So you're making a connection. But what you find out whenever you ask great questions, thorough questions, in-depth questions, is one, me being the asker, I don't have to talk as much. And there's going back to human psychology, there is people genuinely like to talk about themselves. And so me listening and asking questions and follow-up questions, and, well, tell me about this scenario, or what do you really mean by that? Or it seems like you're really good at blah, all those kind of things. I'm engaging in them. I am hopefully helping them boost up. I'm also genuine about the questions, right? And especially whenever you're looking to help somebody grow their connections, introduce them to either prospects or people that they don't know. I only know things in my industry and in my world. So the more I can ask and learn more about what they're doing, the better a connection I can make. Say there's some sort of electrician, but they're a niche or whatever, however you say it. They might not need to know this person. They actually would be better knowing this person to help really grow their network. Or they know five of these guys over here, but they don't know anybody in the other kind of industry that they're looking at. So asking questions like that can really evolve the relationship, the connection, and actually really get to the heart of things of helping them out with their business.
Great. Geoffrey, you are an excellent question asker. So somebody who's just getting into the networking game, or they're entering a new arena, what are 3 questions that they could have chambered and be ready to ask at any given time? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but
Got to have it in the revolver in their hip, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I got tons. So the first thing to it is being fun, being different, and even if you're a terrible joke, like a joker, like you can't tell any good jokes, you can't do stand-up comedy. That's fine. That's okay. But have fun with it. When you meet somebody, tell something to laugh, and it's like, whatever you do. Like for instance, when I would say like, oh, I do IT, like, oh, I do all kinds of computers and stuff, whatever. Well, I kind of help build machines that are going to run my brain when I'm older and before I die, and go put it into a machine of some sort of avatar, joke around, something really nerdy or goofy, But like another question I would say is, based on your journey, what do you wish someone would have told you earlier in your career? I really like asking that question, especially, when it's in something that I don't know. Like, I'm a big nerd, and I would say too that you have to have some kind of interest or desire to not only improve yourself, but you want to have fun. You got to have a lot of fun. You got to learn stuff about everybody's business and industry. Like, I never want to do anything at all to do with Logan's industry. I don't want to do the lending stuff. Never, ever, ever. But I'm interested in it because it makes money in it, because it takes care of the community and it does things that mold things going on in the future. So find something interested in it, especially in using, recent events. Recent events is huge. You can plug that in and you can use that so well to transition into all kinds of interesting discussions and topics with people. Another one I would say is, how do you spend your time outside of work? Are you a gamer? Or are you the guy that goes and plays frisbee golf out in Harry Myers Park, and throws it around a bunch of trees and lands it in the basket? Are you the guy that goes in hoops? Or are you the gal that likes going shopping, or surfing, or riding motorcycles, whatever? Find out, ask what they do, and again, let them talk. Let the people talk. You're doing well in a networking event when you let that other person talk, when they're talking and just continually, talking about all kinds of different things. Now, if they're a motorboat and they don't ever shut up, that's a different thing. You got to evaluate yourself. How to.
I've never met one of those, Geoffrey.
I don't know it. I don't know that. Guilty. Another one I'd say is, what's the best way, for me to get in touch or follow up with you? And one key thing here, and I got this from Tim Nichols, for instance, when I was talking with him, nerding out with him. He gave me a thought in the sense of, when I'm, you're getting someone's phone number, you're getting someone's contact info, their email, etc., like in person, get that right there in their phone right then and there, and send them an email. Have them type their email. You open up Outlook, whatever phone app, Gmail you're using, put their email address in there and send them a letter. Hey, it's super nice to meet you. I had a good time talking with you, or talking about whatever XYZ, or about how the Cowboys still haven't won a Super Bowl in forever. You just gotta have fun with it. You gotta be different. You gotta be yourself, but you got to have fun. I think that's the biggest thing, and asking a question that's unique to you and unique to them.
Good
I think too, I'm gonna pick it back on something you said right there, is because I think it's really good, and it's also helped me, is utilize your customer relation manager or your CRM software to put in little tidbits, to put in birth dates. That's always a fun one. Mm-hmm. When's your birthday? And now I'm going to ask you, I'm going to send you some meme every day on your, or not every day, but every year on your birthday. Mm-hmm. Or, acknowledge in your head, okay, it's kind of hard to do because sometimes people have complicated orders, but, they like, I'm just going to use mine because I'm pretty simple. They like vanilla iced coffee at Starbucks. Now I know what I can, if I'm trying to make a connection with them, trying to drop by, I can go and get that coffee for them, bring it to them. And again, you're helping your genuineness self out, but you're being genuine. You want to make somebody's day and make that connection that way.
Right. I mean, this is all, there, a lot of y'all may have heard of him, Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about, he has this analogy, jab, jab, punch. The jabs are the gives that you're just handing things to people. And that's, like you said, Logan, noting, when their birthday is, what kind of drink they like. So you can have these little jabs that are you're given to them. So when you need to ask something of them, they're a whole lot more likely to say yes to it.
Well, and they're easy touches.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're, man, I haven't talked to Geoffrey in a while. His birthday's coming up. Boom. There's that. Hey, that starts a whole conversation around this. Or, hey, I know he likes watching the Cowboys lose their first game every year. So, like, I'm going to say, hopefully, I'm right there with you. So, the Rangers, the only good thing about right now is they're not automatically eliminated from the playoffs yet. So, all that kind of stuff. But.
Good. Okay. So this next one, I'm horrible at. Both of y'all love, though. When we were talking about topics that y'all were both on the same page on, and that's read. And, read and educate yourself. So why don't one of y'all, Logan, you just talked a bit. Geoffrey, why don't you go for it? What's the importance of reading, of staying educated? Talk about that some.
Being the best, baby. That's what I'm talking about. For instance, how many books have you read this year, Shaun, that were self-improvement? Same for you, Logan. How many books y'all read each of you already?
I've read absolutely 0 books.
Oh, Shaun.
I watch a lot of YouTube. That's where I get my stuff from.
I watch a lot of Netflix.
Hey.
How not to get away with murder.
You learn a lot there.
There you go. As far, I mean, I've probably read over 20 books this year. Probably, I have sections to keep myself interested in stuff. I like true crime, I like historical, and I like business books. So probably 5, and 5 on all of those. Or
I like
6,
it.
6 and 6 would give me to 21. Or no. Anyway,
I like
7.
it. I like it. So this is my own personal opinion, but every single one of y'all, if y'all don't have Audible right now on your phone, you're wrong. You need to have this. This is so godsend. It's incredible. And I mean, just for example, like I don't know if I'll be able to show it on here, but I mean, like this is just to give you an idea of like some of the books I got on here that went through. And I mean, it's like this year I've gone through about 30 books, and I mean they're all self-improvement, but I can't go through. I can't listen to like a fantasy book or something. I can watch movies all day. I love movies, love Netflix, like Netflix and shit like Logan over there. But you got to always be reading a different book or listening to another book and writing it down. So like what I do is a bad habit. Everybody likes to text and drive. Like that's not me. I like to write and drive. I have a notepad on my console on my right side as I'm driving. And if I hear something on the notes, like I'm just going to write on the paper. I don't look at the paper. I just write it. And it looks terrible. It looks awful. It's very hard to decipher sometimes. But when I get done driving,
you can like hit that clip and that will save where you heard that good thought on there.
You could, but that's not me. For me, that might work really well for you. That might be a good idea. Who knows? But I like writing it down because then it's a thought. And I write it down in the way I remember the way they spoke it and what thought it hit in my brain and made me think of, man, wow, I need to do this, or I should be doing that. I would say that's one of the biggest things. I'm always looking at new books and I'm identifying what's out there. I pay attention to all the different sales, marketing websites and things because I just love that stuff. I love people and I want to learn something. And I mean, a book, like a $25 book, you know, it's worth it even if the 700 pages of it, if 699 of those pages are just wasted space and just a bunch of ink. But that one page in there has a golden nugget on there that is useful for the rest of your life. It is so worth. I mean, you can learn from all these people, these influencers from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, all the different mediums that are out there. I would say really is getting a good book and identifying what's good and what's not good. I mean, for example, one of the do nots of the networking thing I wanted to highlight today too was, when you meet somebody, it makes me cringe so bad when I go to a networking group or go to anywhere and there's people that walk up to you and before they've even introduced themselves or said who they are, they give you a card or they're reaching out to give you that card. Don't do that. Don't be that guy or gal. Instantly in my mind, and this might sound stuck up or kind of lame, I instantly put a person back in mind, like, I don't want to talk to this person. They're wasting my time. They're already not here for the right reasons. Well, XYZ, amateur hour. I don't want to deal with that. I want to work with people that want to have a conversation. They want to have a discussion. I want to get to know them. And so a lot of folks should be the same way, I would like to think, but you only get better if you try. And so like, as long as you learn and you look back as to what did I do? What did I do as you, each and every one of you, what did I do? What could I have done better? Right. And you work on that better. Like all these books, they all talk about it and repeat similar mantras. That would be probably my big thing.
Anything else on that topic, Logan, you'd like to add?
Oh yeah, I got a whole list of it. I got a whole book, right? No, I think I want to echo exactly what Geoffrey said about as far as utilizing Audible. That's something that I started using probably this time last year, but I got real disciplined about it in January, and that's a great time efficient thing. I get made fun of because I'm not really reading, I'm just listening, but you can knock out, even doing just simple math deal, you can knock out so many different topics and books, and there's such a plethora of a library out there that, whenever you're commuting, whenever I commute and I work out, especially when I ride my bike, that's right there. That's 2 hours of reading time, listening time, self-improvement time that I really didn't have to set aside and take away from either my work, my family, my Netflix time, all that kind of stuff. And really, I mean, once you get the hang of Audible, you can really pump out some hours just because they have the little speed thing. And, talking like this, you can't really speed it up. And when somebody's reading you a book, it's very slow. And so it's amazing how much our brains can start listening to that. So I usually listen to things about 1 3/4 to 2 times speed, which, takes an 8-hour book into 4. And so, going through that's a great utilization of that. But as far as reading and topics, and I don't think you can go wrong with what you're reading, whether it's self-improvement, business, political, historical, autobiographies, true crime, all that, because all of those are stories, right? And stories have ways of connecting us. And there's things, and bringing it back to networking is, especially when you're doing one-on-ones, people might say something that, boom, hey, I just read something about that, or hey, I've been trying out this new habit and this is how I've been doing it, or things like that. So, part of being networking and connecting with people is trying to bring them value, not in just money-wise or people-wise, but hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about, the benefits of using a CRM, or the benefits of a time management, block style count, things like that. And you can get away with learning so much from other people's mistakes, I think, and that's really what a lot of self-improvement business books are. So it's something I enjoy. It's something naturally that I've always done, but again, utilizing the Audible has really stepped up my game as far as just being able to consume more information without giving up a whole lot of sacrifice.
Great. So there's a hot question going on in the comments here that Katie Miller, so shout out to Katie, past YPR chair. She's our current chamber board chair. But she asks what we're currently reading or listening to. So I'll start. There's one podcast I found over the last month or so called The Token CEO with Erica Nardini. She's the CEO of Barstool Sports. And what she hits on is a whole lot of things, from marketing to self-improvement to HR topics to just whatever's the hot topic issue in the world at that time, and how it's affecting business and the media world specifically. That's a big interest of mine. So that's what I'm listening to. Logan, what are you reading or listening to?
There's a lot.
A lot?
I guess the two in my Audible, the two ones that I have open up, well, I guess there's 3, or I'm going to say 4 right now. I finished 2, but they're the last 2 I finished. One was Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela story, incredible read. The other one is Talking to Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell, and how just being able to connect with people, and people don't always connect in the same way. So, being able to read and understand and situations. But the other 2 I'm reading is, this last one is The Devil in the White City. It's about H.H. Holmes and then the people that made the World's Fair. And that's been really, really interesting it's a time period I don't read about at all. So.
Nice. What about you, Geoffrey?
So I have a bunch. I'm typing out a bunch of them right now too. But some of the big ones, what I would say, is Grant Cardone. I like a lot of Grant Cardone. I'm a big Cardone fan. I like a lot of his stuff. But I take from it what, the good stuff. I think there's a lot of pizzazz, but that's just his character. He's really fun and he's entertaining. But like 10X is one of the best books ever. I think it's amazing. Be Obsessed or Be Average, Sell or Be Sold. If you're not first, you're last. I love Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. I love a lot of those older books. All those principles still 100% apply, and they're all relative to today. I mean, there's some autobiographies too of different people that I've followed that have been very insightful. And I would say, like, from people like Elon Musk to uh, Kevin, Mr. Wonderful, to Mark Cuban, for some of those sharks, all the way to uh, you name it, really anybody. I mean, Oprah's got some stuff. Everybody's got some stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. But listening to all their stories, and I mean, my favorite one from there was a book that was named. It was written by a girl named Ashley Vance, and it was um, Elon Musk, Tesla X, SpaceX, and the quest for fantastic future. And I think that book was so insightful, and like, you get to hear about the upbringing of Elon Musk and like kind of like what he came from, what he had. He had, next to nothing kind of thing, and born and raised South Africa, and ends up slowly but surely making his way over here to North America and working his way down to, California, and helping out with PayPal and everything else, and continues to push the envelope and keeps seeking to do more and to be the best that he can be. And it's like, I love that. I want to be a part of every bit of that, and I want people around me to be like that. But those are a lot of the books. All the ones I listed there, I mean, that's just a handful. Some of the ones on my list I can type off fast enough.
Yeah. Just next 5 minutes, go.
No, so that's going to dovetail nice into our next item here. So we've been, Logan, you especially, you brought this up probably a year and a half ago about creating a YPR library where we can kind of host all of these books, blogs, podcasts, these things that we're all currently reading. So it's going to hit our YPR member page here in the next 15 minutes or so. I have a post scheduled out, but I went ahead and I created that database in a Google Sheet to where there's tabs at the bottom. So we have books, we have podcasts, we have blogs. It's where I back up a little bit on that member page. About 3 weeks ago, I asked, what everybody's listening to, what they're reading, and we got some comments on there. So I went ahead and added that. So once y'all see that post hit the YPR member page, go ahead and add what you are listening to. Geoffrey, I see in the comments here you added about 20 different things. So I'll make sure to pull all that. But that's going to be a resource for our YPR members that we can share with each other in between these times when we're meeting virtually or in person, just, how we're improving ourselves. So I hope everybody really gets some value out of that. So the next thing is, since we're not able to meet in person just yet, we were talking and we wanted to kind of try to connect people so they can still network with each other, still be part of the group. So what Logan and I will do after this is we're going to separate our YPR member list and email that out and give you a person to contact. So what we'll have is we'll have 2 columns. Column A, you're going to have to contact column B, and we'll give you an email or a phone number that we have from when you signed up for YPR. So what we encourage y'all to do is if you want to get out and have coffee, have a drink with somebody, great. If you want to make it a phone call, make it a Zoom call, that's good too. Even just a text conversation. But part of YPR is building your network, using the tips that we just told y'all, those 5 things on how to network better. So, utilize some of those here with that. Did I miss anything on that, Logan? No? Okay, cool. Great. So I think we're coming up on the end of the show here, guys. I know the RVBA is doing a talk here starting at 6 o'clock. So I want to encourage everybody to go to their page if you got some time. And if you don't have time right now, then check it out a little later. But they have awesome talks. They've been doing it for about 6 to 8 weeks now. And I've watched most of them and I've walked away with several tidbits on it. But any closing remarks? Go ahead.
I have one question, and I'm putting you on the spot here, but
sure.
What if I'm not a YPR member, but I want to be able to network with people? What's the best thing I can do?
So you know what, with things being a little different right now, if you're not a YPR member and you want to get matched up with somebody, go ahead and email me, Shaun, SHAUN, @rockwallchamber.org. And so we'll add you to that list and we'll get you hooked up with probably a more seasoned YPR member. So we can really get you into the group until we can meet in person again. And that reminds me of another thing that we have. We have a new texting community with the chamber. So
Tell me about it, Shaun.
yeah, so it's really cool. It's not just, we're blasting out mass messages to everybody. Y'all can interact with us too. So say I send out a message to the YPR group saying, hey, we have networking tonight. Looking at it right there. See, y'all can see right there, me and Logan had a conversation through this texting app.
Hope it was good.
Yeah. But, so say you're trying to make it to our YPR networking event and you just can't find the location. You can text that. I'll see it and I'll be able to give you some information on it. Or maybe you want to ask like, hey, how can I sign up? I can't find the link to sign up for some event that we're having. I can send it just to you. So you're not blasting it to a whole group text. And it's a two-way conversation. So it's really cool. The phone number that y'all want to text is 936-945-9070. And just send YPR, send hi, send anything to that, and it'll get you signed up.
Free?
Yeah, it's toll free. So it'll give you a little welcome message with a link. Hit that link, fill out all the information. One important tidbit on that is make sure you do put in your age. Because of social media laws and everything, you have to be at least 13, which everybody watching this probably is. So make sure that you put that in there, that you're at least over 13 if you don't want to tell me your real age. So you can utilize the service. But again, that's 936-945-9070. Text YPR to that number and we'll get you signed up for the texting community, and that'll automatically put you into the YPR group as well. So anything else, gentlemen?
I'd leave one quote of your favorite guy, Shaun.
What's that?
Mr. Gary V.
Uh-huh.
And I would say to everybody, this quote he said, I just loved it. I've used it quite a bit too. But it's look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I want to do every day? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? Do that.
That's a great way to end it, Geoffrey. So
There you go.
We'll be doing more of these in the future. We have our next one that we're working on. It's Insurance 101. We're going to have Gabby Corletto. We're going to have Bill Crockett and Lauren Chambers on talking about insurance, all things insurance. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple weeks. But until then, we'll see y'all later.
See ya.
Hasta luego.